Galloway's presents Tech Talk at 3. Supersense with Shane Lowe. So, hi everyone, welcome to Galloway's Tech Talk at 3. It's Andrew here from Galloway's. Hope you're all doing well. And we're going international again today. Really pleased to be joined by Shane Lowe from
Hi.
Supersense. Hey, Shane.
Hi, how's it going, man? I'm really excited to be here. The people, my friends from the United Kingdom are the best crowd, always. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're from the northwest of England, so you've got to say people from Lancashire and Sefton and Liverpool. I'm from Liverpool, but yeah, we're all great at this end.
Oh
We're
my
all good.
God.
We're all good fun.
I was gonna go to Anfield last summer. I was gonna go for Bon Jovi was playing in Liverpool, and I
They
was gonna
were.
travel. They
Yeah, that
were,
was an
yeah.
amazing gig. I can tell you the story about that another time. I'm not going to how I ended up in the gold
Please.
circle. I
Did you
ended up in the
go?
gold. Yeah, I ended up in the gold circle by
Wow.
accident. Yeah, because I had my cane. I had my cane, and a security guard came over and said, "Oh, it's safe for you to be in the gold circle." So I ended up in the gold circle with my friends, which was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, with Liverpool,
Yeah.
we just won the Champions League as well. So it was all good times in Liverpool
Yeah,
in
we'll have to
in the
trade stories.
football.
I went to the show in Munich,
Oh,
in
fantastic.
Germany. We'll have to
Brilliant.
trade stories.
Brilliant stuff. Oh, so we've got loads in common already, which is great. And the other great thing we've got in common is technology and apps that help blind and partially sighted people. So you've come here today to tell us all about your fantastic app, Supersense.
Absolutely. I tried to come on the premise of talking about Bon Jovi, but Andrew said I couldn't do it. So I'm going to talk about Supersense instead. this,
No
this really
problem.
cool
I wait.
company that I
So
work for.
we discovered this app, Shane, from one of our service users had told me about it. He said, have you heard of this app called Supersense? It's kind of a new app out there, and I've tried it. I found it really really good, and then I thought, you know what, we should get you to come on and tell us more about it. So over to you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So what I'll do is I'll give you the rundown on the company first, just a little bit about who we are and what we do, because Supersense isn't all of us. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about Supersense. So our company is called Mediate, and we are a spinoff from MIT, which is a university out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. And one of our big goals, one of our major projects is research and development. So we are one of our most primary functions is we look at ways that AI, computer vision can help blind people, can be really effective to solve actual problems that actual people have. So we really put a major focus on talking to users, talking to people. That's my main job. One of the main things that I do is I'm the liaison between you guys, the users, the people that we're serving, and the development team and the company. So we do a ton of research with our customers to find out what actual problems are so that we can solve them. We're not trying to, be a business. We're not trying to come in with marketing language and all that stuff. We're just trying to help and be useful and give products that are actually going to make a difference. So the way that I like to run these things is I like to give you kind of a general rundown of what SuperSense can do, and what our vision for it is, what our dream for it is. And then I like to make this a forum. I want to talk to you guys. I want you to tell me any questions that you have, anything that you would like to see in SuperSense, and we could just kind of have a discussion about it. Because to me, that's the best way to give information is to trade it. So to give it back and forth. So I'll give you just a quick rundown on the app, what it can do, and we'll go from there. So SuperSense is an app released on iOS and Android. You can use it on iPhones and iPads as well, if you'd like. The Android version actually came out first. It came out last year in 2019. And the spearhead features there, the main features that the Android version had, were the Explore and Find features. And the way that those work is you would use your phone's camera, the back camera on your phone, to scan the area that you're in. And anytime that it passed over an item that the computer could recognize, it could recognize 600 items now, I think. 600 different types, it would tell you what it is. So if it passed over your desk, it would tell you a desk, or if it passed a chair, it would say that's a chair, or it could find doorways, it could find people. And so you could use your camera to scan your vicinity and find anything in your area. Um, and then the next logical step was looking for something specific, the find feature. So we made it so that you could select something specific. If you're just trying to find the door, if you want to leave somewhere, like if I'm boring and you want to look for the door to get out of here, you can select door in the find menu, and it'll beep whenever your camera passes a doorway, so you can walk toward the doorway and you can get the hell out if you want. um, After that, we started talking to people. The company started by two guys named Emre and Chagri, and they are both Turkish guys who had a vision to help the blind community. And Chagri worked at MIT, or was studying at MIT, and they formed this business, and they really wanted to get involved into the community. And so they started talking to users, and asking what people needed, what doesn't work for you right now, what do you want to do that you don't feel that you can do well enough. And they talked to over 50 people, and they said they wanted an OCR scanner that works really well. They wanted an OCR scanner that would really do them a solid service. And so they turned to developing those features with AI, developing brand new state of the art AI that would be able to read text and help users scan text as efficiently as possible. And so we started working with um, a guy named Paul, who makes the app Clue. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's a navigation app. And we just started working with these people at MIT and this huge community of researchers that can develop these amazing features. And so that's how the first incarnation of Supersense was born in iOS, was as an OCR scanner, and that came out in April. And so the goal there is to make scanning really, really efficient. So it started with the smart scanner. We had these features like quick reader that would read anything in front of your camera instantly. We had the document reader with brand new guidance technology that when I was hired on at the beginning of this year, I helped develop the guidance so that it would be really intuitive, really straightforward for people to follow. And so we had that for the document mode. We had currency reader, we had barcode reader, and we wanted to make it so that you could use your camera to scan any of these things without telling it what you were scanning, and it would just figure it out all by itself. So we had the smart scanner, and what the smart scanner does is anything that you scan, it figures out what it is and scans it appropriately. So if you're scanning like a little business card, or if you're scanning a sign, it'll just read it to you quickly, just read it out loud. But if you're scanning like a book page, if you're scanning a form at a doctor's office, if you're scanning anything like that, they'll say, oh, that's a document, that's a bit longer. And so it'll give you guidance. It wants to get the best picture that it can. So it'll tell you how to move your camera to get the best picture. Oh, somebody found the door. It'll tell you how to move your camera to get the best picture. And it can scan currency as well. It can scan, the US dollar, but it can also scan the euro and the British pound. And it can tell you what those are, and it'll figure that out automatically, so you don't have to tell it what you're scanning. The same thing with barcode products. We're expanding our databases right now so that they have more products sold in the UK and around the world too, so that that's going to be, the most useful thing. And then, from there, I was doing a lot of research, talking to people like you guys, users of the app, not users of the app, just to see what people needed, to see what people wanted. From there, we added the ability, you can import photos from your library. If you see a meme on Facebook or something on Twitter and you don't know what it is and you want to read it, you can import it into Supersense. You can import PDFs. If there's something that you don't know what it is, or a document that was a scanned image, you can import that and read it. We added multi-pages for document scanning, so you can scan like whole books and then save them as PDFs. You can save and access anything that you scan from Supersense. You can copy certain parts of it. So if you want to just send a certain email address or a certain phone number to a friend or a certain paragraph to a friend, you can copy just that part really simply. Or you can export the whole thing as a PDF or text it the whole thing or email the whole thing. It's really flexible. This thing is designed to be as useful as possible, um, for real people. And then most recently, we focused on adding the explore and find features that we started with in Android to iOS. We wanted those features to come to iOS users because that's what a lot of people were excited about. There was no system that worked like ours, in any other app. And so people were asking for that. So just recently, we ported over the explore feature about a month ago so people can scan around and find the objects around them. And we also added the find feature this week. Actually, you guys are like the first people to know about this. We added the find feature in our latest release. That's going to be coming out this week or maybe at the beginning of next week, so that you can look for specific objects. Are there any Andrew? Is there anything that I missed that you use frequently, or that's?
No, I think some observation really from me. It's
Yeah, yeah.
quite
Please.
it's different. I think, I suppose, to talk about an app that actually originally kind of started out in Android. That's quite interesting.
Yes.
There's a lot of apps that generally come out, they start on iOS, and then and then we're waiting forever for them to come to Android. So similar apps such as I hope you forgive me for saying this, but similar apps like CNAI and things like
Sure,
that,
that's okay.
Soundscape, they we're still waiting to see those come over to Android. We believe that they will do, but for some reason they don't. And maybe sometimes when apps are developed for iOS, it works really well on iOS, and it seems to be more of a headache or an issue in terms of getting them over to work as well on Android. So I think I like the idea that this app actually developed, in its existence, it developed from Android and then has come over to iOS devices, over to Apple. It's just a different thing, so I find that really interesting. Is there a reason for that, or is it just the way it happened?
We started on Android because, interestingly enough, the iOS and Android markets are completely different. So like we started on Android because at the time it was really more of a globally accessible market. There were a lot of people in a lot of different countries that were using Androids because a lot of those devices were more affordable, and so we wanted to approach people. We wanted to approach as many people as possible. Um, and so we wanted to start on that framework. We also had more Android developers at that time. And we started, we wanted to, while we added iOS developers to the team, we still wanted to start making something that would be helpful for people.
Yeah, I could kind of think that that makes sense. I think it's really interesting, and I mean, as a concept as well. I think being able to find something that you're looking for instead of having something just kind of, as you're exploring, you just get to hear about everything. If you're looking for a particular item, um, again, that's another way of using AI technology. If you know what you're looking for, rather than what's in front of me, I know that I'm looking for my keys, for example. I'll use the app just to find my keys rather than knowing where everything else is.
Right.
A little bit like when you're out and about with a GPS app and you can filter your points of interest. I don't want to know about cafes and train stations and shops, and I just want to know what banks, what ATM machines are on my route as I'm walking, rather than being told absolutely everything. So I think, being able for us to be able to say, well, this is what we're looking for. This is what I want to use this particular app for right now, rather than being overwhelmed with lots of different things all at once.
Yeah, absolutely. And the future is huge for this right now as well, because there's like, with LiDAR coming out, with all these new
Yeah,
technologies coming out, with
yeah,
cameras improving, like we're able to predict distances now. We're able to tell you
Yep.
there's this thing in 10 feet from you, or there's, this 10 meters from you, or and to your left. Like, so we're already taking advantage of this, developing technology that'll be able to tell you how far away something is and give you directions to it.
That,
Our research team is amazing.
that
Seriously.
was that
Like,
was a.
I
I was just
I
gonna
came into
say,
this
I'm
as a
glad you took.
blind user.
Yeah,
So this is like, to me, like, as a blind person endorsing this thing, that's I wouldn't, as a blind person, endorse a product that wasn't actually useful, that wasn't going to help people. And this product and the team of people are really incredible. And so, that's why they have my backing, because these guys are really serious about making a product that's valuable and that's innovative and that's moving forward along with technology. We put out updates every week or every 2 weeks. So, that these guys are really keeping up.
it's a great point you made about the lidar technology, because that's something that in our tech social that we normally run on a Tuesday, when the new iPhones were recently launched, the pro models of them, that was like one of the rumored predictions that the lidar sensor was going to come. It's also been rumored that that was going to come with Apple's rumored Apple Glass as well. You know, that there was going to
Uh-huh.
have a sensor in there that would, you say, be able to give you more or less exact measurements of a distance of how far away you are from things. And it's not that the technology is new, because it's not really. Because I mean, I've got a robot Hoover here in the house. I've had it for about 3 years now. It cleans the house when I
Yeah.
want it to, and that uses 3 lidar sensors on it. So the technology has been there, but now that we're seeing it come into Apple's flagship, smartphone, I suppose you guys have got to be on your toes all the time, because when new
Yeah.
technology comes out, you've got new possibilities that you can work with. And I only wish that when Apple, they have the slick kind of presentation that they did the other week, they focused on the lidar technology in terms of, if you were going to buy furniture for your home, you could place it in your living room and look at what that furniture would look like through the camera on your smartphone using augmented reality. And I just wish sometimes that, that we could give more examples of how this technology could benefit. Let's look outside the box to the mainstream market and say, here's an app here, this is Supersense, and this is how they can now use the LiDAR technology. Because there's a lot of people that they don't know, they don't understand how beneficial and how far spread that technology can be now, and it can enable people, to use apps, specialized apps such as Supersense.
Yeah, it's really true. I think, if a lot of more sighted people, if the mainstream community were to be more aware of these kinds of apps and these kinds of products, and even like the an accurate assessment of people with disabilities and what they need and what we're doing and how we do things, I think people would be a lot more informed. There would be less ignorance around disability. There would be, I think, a lot more of a connection between those two communities. It'd be a lot more vibrant, and that's really cool. I think, that other people have this opinion, because I've never really talked about this before, but it's absolutely true. There are things, with lidar. One of the things that we're thinking about is making it so that, it's great that you can assess your living room space with new furniture, but if you expand that outward, if you raise the bar and widen the scope, blind people can use that to assess where they're standing on a street corner. You can see what's around you in the area and navigate with that. You
Yeah,
can use that as a navigation stack of features to know where you're going, what obstacles are around you, and how exactly you can get to your destination.
I think with the lidar and the augmented reality, if we take away the visual aspect of it, I actually believe that that technology could be used to help guide someone around a building, or around an
Yeah.
infrastructure, because the augmented reality side of things will know where the objects are, so it can create a map on the device of where you are, and the LiDAR technology can give you that information that can then be broadcast to you about where exactly you are in a building, what's in front of you. There's a table there, all those things. I think it's
Absolutely.
really exciting. I think we keep thinking, we've got the best technology that we could ever have, and then this comes out and it kind of rewrites
I
everything
know.
again. And it's like, oh, all these new possibilities that could happen.
Yep, it's always improving. It's like I remember when Windows XP was the best and you could never get better than Windows XP, and that was like the end all be all. People were like, I don't need another operating system ever again. And then, just look at the people who are still on Windows 7. I still have a computer that's still using Windows 7. Um, one of them. And technology is always evolving. There's it's ever expanding. So the possibilities are really endless. That's one of the reasons why I like to talk to people and see as technology comes out, as problems are solved and other problems are created, what we can do to actually help and be useful. So if anyone has any questions,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to just kind
I
of
was
make
I
this a
was
forum and
also
just talk about it.
I was also going to finish off with a couple of comments and one question for you before we
Of
open it
course.
up to everybody else.
Of course.
One thing I'd also say, I mean, around the lidar technology, and your app, and the way things are moving, we've also, when you throw the 5G in there as well, which is the super fast ultra data internet access, then that also is going to
Absolutely.
make so many more things possible, which can make you look into the future. And I'm just, so that we go back and we focus on your app Supersense, because that's what we'd like people to out here today, and people watching this on YouTube. You need to go and try the app, and give it a go. What do people need to do if they want to try this out, Shane, on their iOS device or their Android device? Can they try it out, and what are the costings, if they want to subscribe, and things like that?
Absolutely. So you can find SuperSense, all one word, SuperSense, on the Android Play Store or the iOS App Store. You can download it there. There's a 7-day trial, um, and you can use all of the features that we have for 7 days. The app after that is either a paid subscription or a one-time purchase, depending on what you want to do. That gives you access to all of our features for as long as you're subscribed. So you can get the lifetime subscription for $100, and that gives you all of our updates, all of our tech support, all of our best service forever. You can get it annually for $50 per year or for $5 per month, depending on however you'd like to pay. And that money, it goes toward paying us so that we can keep developing the product for you, and also so that we can keep researching, we can keep expanding and involving ourselves deeper in the community,
It's actually
so that we
really low
can
cost,
be the
I
best we can.
think. It's really low cost as well, isn't it? Because actually, if you were to put all this into a new hardware device with all that software, we would be probably talking, £1,000 for something, a lot more. So the fact that
Oh yeah.
people, and I always say, you've got mainstream technology there that you use, and I think, here you go, you can try it for a week. And you can even try it, for the small cost of $5 a month. And if you then find that it's the thing for you, then I mean, me personally, I probably think I might as well get the lifetime subscription thing, because that would make
Yeah,
much more
absolutely.
sense. But it's amazing, what AI can do, and you kind of you're building the future of it. I think it's really great, and it's great to see.
Thank you so much.
It's also great to see, as you were saying before, and I say this, and I say this very carefully. I think it's brilliant when we have people who are visually impaired, that have invested their time into these projects, and these companies, and that we're the spearheads behind this technology as well. And I hope that gives people the confidence to use this type of technology, like yourself, Shane. We've got lived experience, and we're passionate about what we do, and we want to use this technology to help more people.
Absolutely. 100%. We're trying to help actual real people, and it's really that's what it's all about. It's about helping people who have actual problems. And I was thinking about this because I was comparing experiences. I was talking about going to Liverpool last year, or wanting to go to Liverpool last year, and my fiance and I were both completely blind. We went to Europe. We didn't make it to Liverpool because of some scheduling stuff, but we made it to Germany and Spain. And I was thinking not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, like, wow, if we had Supersense to read signs in Europe or to find things while we were out in Europe, like, it would have been really helpful, because we still were able to navigate with no problems. We were able to ask directions and get around just as two blind people in a new country. But at the same time, it would be great to have access to that information, because Supersense can read um, all written languages now. We started with the Latin-based languages, and expanded outward to now be able to read the non-Latin-based languages as well. So now Supersense can read any language that you want Supersense to read. And we're thinking about a translation function, if that would be useful for people. And
Wow.
what decides our new features is what people suggest. The more people that suggest something, the more likely we are to develop it, and the faster we are likely to develop it.
User driven, absolutely. You need people to
Absolutely, yep.
feed that information in, because you don't know what people want unless they ask. So are you ready for for us to unmute everybody and get them asking you questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it on. Let's do it.
Here we go. So if you want to unmute yourself and you're on a telephone, you need to press the star key and the number 6. That will unmute you. If you're on a smartphone or a tablet, you should get a notification asking you to unmute if you would like to unmute yourself. Let's well, I know everybody normally shouts at once here, but who would like to ask the first? Tracy.
Can I ask?
Okay.
Oh, go.
Ladies first now.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Go for it, Tracy.
Hi there. Thank you very much for a really interesting overview of the app. Sounds fantastic.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You mentioned that it started on the Android, and also that it now goes across to the iOS. And then you proceeded to tell us about some of the features that you've got on the iOS. Can I just confirm or clarify those features that you've mentioned, all about the scanning, the reading, the OCR, and the various different wayfinding and all that? Are they all the same on the Android and the iOS? Are all the features the same?
They are, yes. So now that we just added the find feature from Android to iOS, so now both platforms are the same now.
Right.
So they all have the scanning features and the exploring and finding features.
Okay, that's terrific. Thank you.
Brilliant. Great question.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay,
I've got some suggestions.
David B first.
Thank you.
Go on. I'll come back to you in a minute, Amy. I'll go to David B first. They're all keen, It's great though, isn't it? Go for it, David.
Yeah, I'll clarify. I want to add to the lady who's just been on, Tracy. Your talk's been brilliant. It really has. It's opened my eyes.
Thank you so much.
But two little observations I would like to make. You say you want to know things from us. One thing with the navigation tools, it doesn't matter which tools they are. When you come to a curb, there's nothing that I've come across will actually let you know what depth, or a stair, what depth it is. Are you with me?
What your long cane's for? You use a long cane.
Yeah, but with respect, sometimes it's not feasible to use a long cane, is it?
Or it might be.
That's what I've come across.
Yeah. I think we'll probably say that that's where the LiDAR technology is going to come in handy.
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other thing as well. I mean, okay, we're talking about people who can't see at the minute, but this covers a big area, as you know. What about with people with a little bit of sight? and when they want to like sign a check, or they want to sign a document, at your doctor's or whatever, yes, you have a signature guide at the minute, but do you think, can you see anything coming that will be used for helping us to have a little bit more independence?
You mean a virtual, like an app form of the signature guide, a way to use the phone camera to help you know where to sign?
That's right. That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I mean, really, with the group of researchers that we have, this is a totally new idea. I've not heard anyone give this idea, so this is really unique, and I really appreciate that. That's so cool. This is one of the things I'm going to talk to our developers about, because these guys can figure out how to do anything. So
Right.
if there's a way to do it, we can find a way to make that happen.
If you want
In the
someone to go and do
meantime,
the job,
you might want to think about using the camera facility on your phone. You could then zoom in on the area of the document and, use that to sign in the meantime.
Absolutely.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially now
Absolutely.
when some places now ask you to actually do electronic signature, and I found that really tricky.
Yeah.
You're not
Right,
doing
yeah,
physical
it can be.
signature.
With your signature on, where you would just then stamp whatever it is that you're asked to sign.
It's a good idea, isn't it? You have your own personal stamp instead of
Yeah.
your own
Your own
signature.
seal.
Just back to David there. David, that's a very innovative suggestion and very pioneering of you.
Yeah.
I think,
it's something I've been thinking about for a long time.
Brilliant.
And,
that's a good idea. Thank you.
Because I mean, believe me not. I mean, just very, very quickly, there was I went to see a doctor, and he didn't even know where for me to put my pen to sign it. He said he'd never come across a visually impaired person before.
No.
And I couldn't believe that with the doctor, but
No, they don't.
Crazy, isn't it?
That's what's made me started thinking.
Thanks, David. That's brilliant.
That's
Brilliant
why we're all
suggestion.
educators. Every VI is an educator.
Of course it is.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go to Amy. Amy had some suggestions or some comments.
Yeah. Firstly, the transcription thing would be really useful, especially as when I read a lot of my medieval history books, they have like words in Arabic, Arabic type form, names and things, or words or technical terms, and a lot of time the speech just garbles it all. But my other two things was, I'm diabetic, and at the moment the pens that you have to dial on, I have to give it to somebody at the site. When you're trying to read the screens, I have to give that to somebody at a site, because the whole system is just totally, they bring out some talking meters, but they're not worth, and when they do bring them out, they pull them back online again, so you end up back to the. So at the moment, my mum has to do everything, which is really annoying. If we could just like read the pens, because I be able to dial my own pen when I'm out would be. My other thing was a lot of the museums now are doing what they call like online virtual tours, but they're completely silent. So if we could get some kind of description or something in with that when the virtual reality comes out, would be really great.
Yeah, that's very, I hate to say this, that's very short-sighted, isn't it?
Right.
To do
an
online tour of a museum, but not actually audio describe it.
It would actually be a really good idea to contact those places, Amy, and actually point that out to them, because you may find that it's an omission that they're really not thought about or are aware of.
Yeah.
And a lot of museums are more these days trying to make places accessible, but they've obviously not thought through enough about the process of making it better.
Yeah, I have spoke to some, but even when they put like, some of them they'll just put like an audio file on it. All it does, it's telling you about it's still not. It's still nowhere near there.
They need to have some kind of commentary that, as you're virtually going through, the commentary takes you through as well. So that's really what you're asking for.
Yeah, I know they do that in America. I've experienced that in America. When I went at one of the science museums. And sorry, go on. You carry on, please.
No, it's all right.
No,
I was just gonna. Yeah, no, it's okay. Sorry, David.
No,
I was just gonna say.
That's right.
if we can go back to Shane on that first
Yeah,
comment
yeah,
about
of course.
the
Of course.
pen, is it the EpiPen? Sorry, about for doing your blood. Was that what you were asking about before then, Amy? Wasn't it?
Dosing
Yeah.
pen for the
Yeah, the
insulin.
dose. Yeah. What do you think about that one,
at
Shane?
the moment, I can dial it and prime it, but I can't because the new pens, they don't click properly either, so you can't even count the clicks anymore like you used to be able to do. But you still need somebody to check them because it's easy to go over a click. It'd be much easier somewhere you could use the Sense app to read the actual screen when you're doing it all. Because as I say, they bring out audio. They do bring out accessible. The part of it that's accessible, it's the reader, but it's either they don't think about deaf and you can't hear it, or they pull the one out you can hear off the market. I've had 2 pulled off the market already that were accessible, and then they just stopped making them.
Shocking.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so I definitely think that you can try Supersense to read this. And we're also working on a specific feature that's designed to read these kinds of digital displays. So if it doesn't work for you now, it will soon, because we're working on something that'll work really well for things like this.
The pen is a tiny, 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 tiny little screen thing you can hardly see. It's trying to get your camera over it at the moment. I can't do it. I haven't tried it with Supersense, but I've tried it with like Seeing AI and things like that. I can't get it to work.
Those LED screens
It's like a
are
very
really
small
difficult.
window pane, really. It's like a very small LCD window.
Yeah.
In the pen system
Yeah.
itself. It is very small, and the figures are like an LCD, aren't they?
It's really old technology, isn't it? And we've been using it for
Well, that's
20
the
odd
NHS.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the NHS, you know.
Well, when they do try and update the technology, like they brought out like a pen. They brought out like it's like a little square monitor that you put the blood onto. They made that talking, but you still need eyes to get the blood onto it because you can't touch the strip. So you end up with half of one and half of the other. It's like they think of one thing and forget about. So I've never yet, I've tried 7 different devices. I've never yet found one that's totally you don't need eyes for ever in my life, and I've tried loads.
Is the speech clear as well, Amy? Is the speech clear?
No, well, they do. Yeah, they had one where the speech was brilliant, and then they took it off the market, and the one they brought on the market can't hear a flipping thing, and you can't put headphones in either. The talking one they brought out, you could put headphones in. The new one, you can't. So it's like half of one and half of the other. It's like 1 step forward and 20 steps back every time.
Well, it's great to hear that we got a feature coming to Supersense there that can help you read those awful LCD screens or those LED screens that were
tiny things.
Oh, I struggle with them as well. Even though I've got a little
vision, crazy.
I do struggle with them
Amy,
as well.
Worse than LEDs sometimes, I find.
Yeah, for sure. Amy, could you also tell me again what you were saying about the textbooks, the medieval text?
Medieval textbooks, right? Well, there was 2 problems I keep having. I don't know if it's a problem with yours. I have some hardback books that are really, really shiny covers, or they've got those plastic covers. Won't scan those. When I try and put it up to scan, to get the title, to find out what the book is, I have to go and get eyes because they'll never scan. Tried 3 different. Don't know if they do on yours, but I've tried 3 other different ones. None of them will ever scan through that plastic or through the shiny stuff to get the title of the book when you're trying to find a book. And then when you go in a book, you can have, at the moment I'm reading about the Crusades. So there's a lot of text where it's got Arabic names, Arabic words, ancient words, technical terms, and a lot of the time you just get cannot read or cannot transcribe because they might be in a slightly different font, or they might be spelt weird, or just
you get that unrecognizable block of text or something like that. Don't you on certain apps?
And if you've got a lot of stuff that's in like columns and stuff, that won't, like columns or a lot of tables or like bits all over the page, that won't read properly either.
Right. Okay, yeah, we're actually working on right now also a feature that will be able to read things in columns and tables as well, and you shouldn't have an issue. I'd be really curious actually for you to try and scan one of these books with Supersense and see if it gives you that unrecognized block of text error. I'd love to hear more from you about this.
Did you say you were doing like a translation thing as well? Because that would be really good to read. Some of the like original texts are in like French or German or Arabic and things like that, and be able to read it and then translate it back into English. I ain't yet found a app that does it properly.
That would,
That
yeah,
would
no,
be
that would be
really,
really
really
cool.
helpful.
That is
Some of-
something.
some
It
of
is
the
something that
original-
we can do.
Yeah.
We right now we're waiting for, we haven't gotten enough requests for it to make it, but it is definitely something that we can do. And your request just pushed it up our to-do list. So very possible.
I've got some ancient texts that are written in French, and you can buy the French version really, really cheap. Try and buy the English translation in Kindle, and it's like £100. So I've been coming across this a lot. Yeah, like Viking texts.
You're better spending that £100 on Supersense.
I wanted the original translation of the document for the death of Jake Simolle. Like in French, it's about what, £5 or something. You want it in our language, they're charging £110 for the Kindle version.
Oh my gosh.
And it can be over because I wanted one that was done in France. They're charging £200 for that. Found one translation in £200.
That is crazy.
Thanks, Amy. They're really good points, and I'm sure
Thank you so much. I want you guys to know I'm writing all this stuff down. I'm going to be meeting with the developers at the beginning of next week, and we're going to be talking through all of these ideas.
We'll send you the video as well. You'll have this video as well to go back on as well, which will be good.
Oh, cool. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for that.
Thanks. I have one thought before we go. In cooking, some people find it difficult to distinguish when something's cooked or not, by the looks of it. I wonder whether or not there would be some kind of a feature that could be brought where it would recognise the difference between, say, meat that's cooked or not cooked.
Chicken's the one, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you don't think quite difficult for people. But I just wondered whether or not something like that, because I think some people might rely on like Be My Eyes or something like that, or the touch method or various other timing things.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah. We also need a barbecue mode as well. Barbecue mode. That's the other thing, when you're on the barbecue.
You like the barbecue on a day like today, Andy?
It looks cooked. It looks cooked to me. I mean, it's black, full of charcoal. But
it breaks your teeth, yeah.
You're supposed to cook on embers, not when it's actually fired right up.
Yeah.
Right.
So there you go, Shane. So
I recommend a meat thermometer for that one.
A meat, a
talking meat thermometer.
A meat thermometer.
Because that actually penetrates into that actually penetrates into the meat, and unfortunately, you can't stick your phone into your chicken. There's not much we could do there. A talking meat thermometer is the way to go.
I suppose that way. I suppose for that you'd have to come out with some like little extra like thing that you put into the food, which then connected to your, like.
Oh, come on now!
Kind of do it.
Yeah, it gets expensive.
Why
Just buy a meat thermometer. That'll cost us so much money to make it. It'll be expensive. You guys buy it.
Supersense has just gone up in price now, guys. I'm afraid it's just gone. Woof.
Yeah, we're now £250. I'm sorry.
But if we all
put a Supersense meat thermometer edition, you could get for
that's
it. £250.
Yeah,
the computer says no job, isn't it?
No, we need a meat mode on Supersense. Meat mode. That would be good.
Or even the tasting mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely. Well, we need another. We need moldy mode as well. Then
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Burnt toast mode.
Does this bread look moldy?
Mind you, reading sell-by dates, the app to read the sell-by dates would help.
That's That's a really difficult one, that, Shane. Actually, with all the. I think with all the technology out there, I think when you pick a bottle of milk up or you pick like meat out the fridge or whatever, sell-by dates come in or use-by dates come in lots of different forms. They all look different.
And they're in different places.
They are,
Yes, they are.
That's probably a real challenge, that. with those.
That's a really good one. That's a very, very good one.
It would be nice for, manufacturers, or it would be nice for legislation to make the dates all standardized, so they all looked the same. And
that'd be lovely.
Some of them come on see-through packets or cellophane, and there's no white background, so the apps can really struggle to get the dates because of
just the shape of the can. Because I say when you try on some of the others, just the actual shape of it, the fact that it goes round a corner or round a piece that's on a particular, won't pick it up either.
Yeah,
I've never managed to. I've tried loads. I've never managed to get it to work. Can I ask? I can't remember what it was, but I got an email from Supersense this morning about something about adding themselves to another app or something, but I couldn't read it properly. It just came this morning.
Adding themselves to another app. Was that about Product Hunt by any chance?
It's something to do with products, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was.
Oh, Product Hunt. Yeah, we just today, the 29th of October, we launched Supersense on Product Hunt. Product Hunt is like, it's a website that talks about the latest technology and innovative new products. And so we were Product Hunt. Yeah, we were asking people to help us out, to check out the product, maybe give us an upvote if you like it, so that we're trying to be the #1 product release of today. So if you want to go to producthunt.com, you can find Supersense and you can upvote us and
Product Hunt. Okay.
Hunt. Yes.
HUNT, as in hunting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Product
Hunt.
Excellent.
Yeah,
take a look. If you'd
big up on Supersense on Product Hunt. That's what we need to.
Yeah, we're trying to be #1 today. We're trying to really advocate for blindness technology and software that's helping disabled people. So
absolutely,
if we could be the #1 product of the day, it'd be really cool.
You're going the right way, though. You are going the right way.
Great.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, brilliant.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Key. Go for it.
Wrong thing. Oh yeah, bank statements. How does problems when you've got a bank statement reading across?
So right now, Supersense will handle your bank statement is in like rows and columns in a table form.
Yes.
So right now, Supersense can handle those pretty well, but not ideally. That's one of the big things that people have been requesting. So being able to read tables and text that's formatted in rows and columns is going to be coming up really soon.
Okay. Another question is, in text history, how do you copy it into Notepad or iBook if you want to save it for later? I can't seem to find Notepad in there.
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that for me?
I'm looking at text history. I can find the share button, but I can't find one copy into Notepad.
Oh, you can swipe down with one finger on each item, and there's an option there to copy it. So whenever you're scrolling through the read history option, you can also edit those items. If was an error, you can fix the error manually if you'd like, and you can delete things now from read history. That was a new update that we put out that lets you do that.
Now, question: how long does text history stay on there for? Does it stay there forever?
If I remember right, it'll stay there for you. It should stay for a couple of days, like 3 days.
Right.
So you can scan.
What happened was I close the app and then come back. It wasn't there for some. I don't know why.
Oh, interesting. I think, you know what I think happened? I think our new update made it based on app sessions. So maybe one thing that we could do to help you out is we could add a setting that decides, or where you can select how long the app keeps read history.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Good feedback.
Of course.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's a great idea. That's
Cool.
a really good idea. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to just a comment there. Yeah, rows, columns, tables, bank statements, menus in restaurants. They're all quite challenging for OCR readers.
Don't they? They use curly writing in restaurants. Some of the menus are tried to be too fancy, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. The way that they can be formed. Absolutely. I think technology is getting smarter though, where it knows that, all right, this is a restaurant menu because it's got like salads, starters, burgers, all those things detailed. and it's just that sometimes there's some OCR readers, not Supersense, but other ones. You'll get it'll read down all the list of items, and then it'll read all the prices all in one go.
Yeah, I find that, and you have to end up asking eyes to put the like whoever's with you to put the price back with the thing that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and I think that's the one thing probably where I'm more with AI. I kind of have this kind of I'll only go so far with AI when I think then I might get someone to read it for me. And sometimes when it comes to like a restaurant menu or something like that, that's sometimes, Shane, where I kind of go, I might just get someone to read it for me, or I might use Ira or Be My Eyes or something like that.
Sure.
But when it comes to like,
what I would do too.
But when it comes to like reading a document or something, I'm straight on the AI side of things because it's so much quicker.
I'm like that as well, Andrew. When I'm out, because I go out with a pair of eyes with PA anyway, I just go read me the menu. I can't be bothered messing. It takes too long to mess around. Yeah,
I think when it gets there though, and the AI can do it, I think I would much prefer using that than actually speaking to somebody. Me personally, I love using the AI side of things to do all that type of stuff, and
I completely agree. Because to me, it's a lot about, it's a lot about perceptions. I love talking to people. I love interacting with other people, but I don't like interacting with people on things that I should be able to do independently because, not only should I not have to do that, but, it also could make those people think, oh, well, of course they can't read menus, or of course they can't find directions to this place, so they need help. I want to be able to do all of that stuff independently and, only have to talk to people, when anybody else would have to talk to people, as much as or as little as I would like. Yeah, so, the goal of Supersense is to make stuff really efficient so that it's the same amount of efficiency or even better to use Supersense or talk to people.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of independence you can get from using these apps. I mean, I love going around like museums and things like that, and being able to use the OCR to read all the things rather than having to get somebody to read them all to me all the time. And people are amazed at what you can do with technology, and they say, "Oh, what's that you got there? Is that a special app that the museum have developed?" No. It's an app called Supersense. I'm using that. It's made for people with visual impairments, and it reads everything out to me. Does it? It's amazing. I didn't know stuff like that existed, So those people don't know that stuff like that exists. So people who are newly diagnosed with an eye condition, they don't know these things exist either, and they're amazed when they come across them and they finally get to try them, But in some ways, it can still feel like it's on a need to know basis, and people only really sometimes find out when they get involved in groups like this one. What's out there and what's available. So it's really important that Galloway's ourselves, we're always kind of advocating about technology and moving forward and speaking to people about, not that you need to use an iPhone or that you need to use a computer or an iPad. We're saying this is what technology can do for you. Look at what apps such as Supersense can do for you. Now, there's a reason for getting an iPhone, not to make calls with, but to use as an independent living device that can read things back to you and tell you what your product is, or read a document. And people then think, actually, I didn't know technology could do that. Or now there is a reason for getting a device like this. So I feel very strongly about that. Apps like Supersense, that have come along are encouraging people to invest more in mobile technology.
I mean, I've got to admit, I mean, it amazes me. Of OCR, for instance, how far it's come in not many years. I mean, I at a Kurzweil. I don't know if anybody heard of Kurzweil?
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I first saw that, it was £15,000 to buy the unit. Yeah, and now, as you say, for £100, unless you're all year. All your life, you've got the ideal thing, haven't you? Which just puts in your pocket.
Oh, when you put that into perspective like that, it's amazing how far
it is. It is. Oh yeah, it amazes me completely.
let's we're making Supersense. They're making it accessible to the masses at a lower cost price.
Definitely.
Which is so important. Okay. I'm wary of the time. Have we got? Can we take a few more questions, Shane?
Yeah, there is.
Of course.
Can I ask a quick one?
Go on, Yvonne.
Yes or no is quick. Will it be able to read bank cards?
Yes,
Ooh,
it should.
A bank card.
It should be able to handle that for you.
Cool.
Super.
Look
forward to that.
If it doesn't, let me know. You can. One of the cool things about Supersense is you can request a call from within the app. You can request tech support, and I'll be giving you a call, and we'll talk about any problems that you're having, anything that's not working well for you.
Oh,
we'll talk about it, and we'll get right on
That's
fixing
how I got in
it.
touch with you, Shane, wasn't it?
It
Through
is,
the
yeah.
app. Yeah.
That's how I met Andrew.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. I went right through the app.
A lot of fun.
Can you do
don't-
it? Can you do it by email as well, Shane? Because I have problems with hearing on the phone sometimes, so I tend to text and email.
Yeah, of course. I can
phone
give
at
you
the
my
moment.
I can give you my phone number, so you can iMessage or WhatsApp to me, and I can give you my email address as well.
I'll tell you what we can do, Shane. We can, if you want to send me an email after this, we can send the details around for Supersense, and if anybody wants to feed back in via the email solution or the phone,
yeah,
we'll send it out to our mailing list from this session today. We can definitely do that.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Should we take one more question for one or two more questions for Shane? Anyone that hasn't asked a question yet?
Yeah.
Even people that haven't asked a question. Go on, David.
Right. I've got a magazine, 2 magazine articles to send to Andrew, but I'm going to have to convert them into readable text for him out of a printed magazine. How good is the OCR in dealing with the columns?
So the OCR right now, it does okay with it. We're working on improving that right now. So that's a huge feature. We've already gotten, just to put it in perspective, 3 people have already said it in the call. So just in this call. So it's really popular. So we're going to be working on fixing that as soon as possible.
Right. Well, it would be good to give it a try. The other quick question, you said it could be used to find objects. How would that work? Because this minute, will have to go in the kitchen at some point before tea to find the remote control for the kitchen telly. I know it's somewhere in the kitchen. I've just lost it. I don't think an app like that could find objects.
That sounds like the story of my life, finding the remote control. Always goes missing.
Who's be my eyes?
Place, David.
You what?
You could have it in a certain place instead of keep leaving it at your backside.
Yeah, but he wants to lose it. He wants to just,
He wants to have the freedom to lose things.
Yeah.
Where he drops it. That's it.
Or it's where, David, it's where you last left it.
Well,
yeah. Yes, that's the answer.
But let's take that. Let's get serious. Let's get serious again and let Shane answer that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, when you load up the find feature, you can select whatever you're looking for. You can search for whatever you're looking for, and it will. Your phone will. You can use your phone camera and scan around with that camera, and whenever it sees it, it will beep at you, so you can follow where your camera's pointing.
So is there one for remote control then? Is there, Shane? Is there an option to? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Brilliant. Is there a setting called 5-year-old girl? Well, that works for me. 5-year-old
child, little girl,
or cat.
There is
cat
one
mode.
There's one for people. Yeah. There is one for cat as well. Yeah.
Wow.
You can't actually use it.
Right, we're gonna ask him.
Provided you put a little bell on the cat's collar, you'll find her then.
Yeah.
Or you can use Supersense.
I also need beer mode as well to find my beer when I've had too many.
But you'd have had a robot for that.
I think that's the barcode.
It's the one for disobedient dog.
Disobedient dog mode. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right next to meat mode.
Meat mode, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Go on, Yvonne. Or Amy. Is it Amy?
It's the one for disobedient dog.
Disobedient dog.
Yeah, I told you it's right next to meat mode.
Meat mode. Oh, there you go.
And mold mode.
There you go.
It's right between those two.
Thank you. Definitely need that.
You know when
That's good.
when you're in fine mode, does the light affect it? Because I was trying in a different app to find cat the other day, but the landing was really, really dark. And I think it was the fact that it was dark, it just wasn't picking anything up whatsoever with the camera.
Oh yeah, so Supersense has in the settings you can adjust the flash mode. By default, it's on automatic, so it will automatically adjust. If the light's too low, it'll turn your flashlight on, so it has enough lighting.
It'll do it automatic because as I say, the other app,
it'll take care of it for you.
And it was just going, couldn't find anything, and it wasn't. I thought, is it because the cat's moving? It wasn't moving. It was absolutely dead, killed up, but it just would not pick anything up.
Well, I'm going to quickly tell you a little story. Yesterday, it was dinner time yesterday, right? And Louise made me a sandwich because I was working upstairs, and I came downstairs. I went into the kitchen, and I'm looking at the plate, going. I said, Louise, there's only half a sandwich here, and she said, no, I've made you a full sandwich. And then when I looked to the side of the plate, there was 2 pieces of bread open. There was egg mayonnaise all over the table. And the hammer disappeared, and it was only the cat. Oh right, the cat had been at me butty. She took everything out, and I was like, "Where is that cat?"
Problem when you've got cats and dogs, Andrew. You don't know which to blame.
Oh, it was so funny.
The cat gets it down, and the dog
does it all the time.
Yeah. And I remember once I went to the toilet. We were having steak and chips. I went to the toilet once. Come back. And only had chips on the plate. And I was like, "Where's that steak gone?" And there she was under the table. Well,
one of our cats took my uncle when we were in our old house, and we were having fish chips, took the whole fish off his plate and disappeared with it.
Oh, do you know what?
Wow.
So I found the cat under the table with the steak. I said, if I can't have that steak, because clearly I couldn't, because you can't. You can't either. No. And in the bin it went. I said, she's not having my steak. If I can't eat it, neither is she.
What we do is we do it like that. Have you put a plate upside on top of it so they can't get into it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that next time.
Cat if it had been mine.
Yeah.
I think they probably could if they had long enough and were determined enough. You know, I was used to get in a high cupboard.
Yeah.
And get lots of water off the Sunday roast.
You do have to watch.
Cool. It's lunchtime for me over here.
I was just thinking that myself.
You have to watch them. You do have to watch those guide dogs as well, because the guide dogs
do.
Oh yeah.
Their opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you
go
see, their reach, it's fair game, guys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know? So note to selves, keep it out of their reach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Can I ask
mine's not bad actually.
Of course, please.
We've got one question from Stuart.
Go ahead.
Hi. I was just wondering if you can add things to your search for objects. So can I take a picture of my favorite hat and add that to the list?
That's something that we're working on right now too, actually, being able to add stuff and label it so that you can find it. Specific things that you want. Yeah.
Gloves and socks are the ones that get lost.
Oh, gloves, yeah.
Oh, what socks?
You know.
You don't fold the top over when you wash them.
Oh, not fair. One glove.
Fold the tops over when you wash them, and then when you actually have them in your drawer, fold them back over again.
Or get some sock locks. The
Or
little
just
rings
stick
that
a
you.
peg on them.
Sock locks.
Didn't know they worked.
Shane,
if you.
we need to tell Shane about this, because this will change Shane's life completely. I think.
Yeah. What is this?
Okay, so
Tell me this.
If you go on Amazon or you go on Google, just look up sock locks. So as in a sock and then a lock with an S.
Yeah.
Basically a little disc, and you can push both of your socks through into the disc and throw them in the washing machine and dry them out with the disc on. So the disc.
What's still in?
Yeah, the disc.
Yeah.
The discs are plastic.
My mum goes mental with me mixing up all the socks.
I'm gonna bring them on the Tech Talk on Tuesday, and I'll describe them and show them to people that can see them. But it's just a little disc, and you can push your socks through the little disc, and it keeps them together. And then you can put them in the wash. Once they're dry, they're together. Take the sock lock off, and they're still together. There's no messing around.
Here's another way.
Oh, that's
without
amazing.
buying another piece of equipment. what you do is you fold
That's so innovative.
tops over each other,
Yeah,
and then you put them in the washing machine in like a little net bag.
in a
So
net bag.
they
That's another way of doing it.
together. When you come to dry them, just put a peg on the toes and dry them together. And then when you come to put them back in your drawer, just fold the tops back over, and then that's it. They're in a single piece.
I think we need a tricks tips with Tracy. I think.
Yeah, I'm
TTT.
forever mixing socks up and driving my mum mental when she comes to do the underwear wash.
Yeah,
because all mine are mixed up.
I mean, that's what my role is about: is problem solving and techniques. So
absolutely, sounds brilliant. Brilliant. Well,
so you don't need to be buying things like that. You can just use that method, and then you're not, you know,
you're not spending more money.
You're not spending more money.
Brilliant. I'm wary of the time, and I know it's lunchtime over in Kentucky. What are you going to be having for your What are you going to be having for your lunch, Shane?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm going to have like some vegetable stew for lunch today.
Okay, sounds
very healthy.
That sounds good to me.
Well, I've got the kitchen at the moment, so I'm on.
Andrew doesn't sound too sure.
I made stew at the weekend. I did it yesterday.
Nice.
We have something in
Nice.
we have something in Liverpool which is like stew. Do you know what it is, Shane? Have you heard of it?
No, I don't think
it's called scouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scouse.
It's called scouse, as in a scouser from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it's a stew. Yeah.
What's it?
Yeah.
What goes in it?
Anything and everything.
Anything and everything. Yeah.
Please yourself.
Cereal.
It's genuinely beef and potatoes, carrots. Yeah.
That sounds great. Sounds like a lot like the stew that I'm making.
Yeah. It's
sounds
all
great.
good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yeah. See, and we've gone full circle because in honor of my proposed trip to Liverpool, I was calling the Bon Jovi tour the "This Scouse is Not for Sale" tour.
Oh yeah, because it was "This house is not for sale." Oh, brilliant!
Yeah.
I like it. That's brilliant. Brilliant stuff.
I think that should be a T-shirt.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why they haven't come up with that in Liverpool. That's a brilliant. Maybe we did for the concert. I'm not sure. But yeah.
I stole it from a friend of mine from right outside Liverpool who was a big Bon Jovi fan. He came up with it first.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's great.
Credit where credit is due.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna bring it to an end now today, and I want to thank Shane so much for coming and joining us. It's been one of the most serious but also funniest sessions that we've had. I think you put a smile on everyone's faces today, Shane, and it's great to speak to someone directly involved in an app like this and within this technology. And I'm sure that we'll have lots of people trying out Supersense. And
seriously, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I've honestly had a really, really good time just chatting with you guys, talking about the app and talking about Stu and just talking about everything. I've had a really good time. So I'm going to send Andrew my info.
Don't forget.
I'm going to send Andrew my info, so keep in touch.
We will do.
We'll do.
Yeah,
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you so much. My
All the
pleasure.
best to you.
Cheers, mate.
All the
Thanks a
best
lot.
to you guys.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.